Hey, Mike Smith here. This is a brief teaching tips video for ESL-TESOL teachers on an aspect of speaking, pronunciation, a function called intrusion. So what is that? Intrusion is when we introduce an extra sound between words. That's simply to allow the mouth and parts of the mouth to transition from the end of one word to the beginning of another word. So for example, T or to your. So this y sound is inserted there. Blue eyes, blue eyes. So this w sound is inserted, and both of those are confusing. But look at these two. See ya. So there's a y sound there. But if we use the word sora, there's an R sound in there, and it's super confusing because the letter W is replaced by the sound of an R. So I'm going to use an activity from Mark Hancock's Pronunciation Games book, a fantastic old book, but it's a fantastic book. And the instructions for this activity can be a bit confusing for teachers and students, so I thought I'd just run you through it today. So here is the activity from the book in landscape format. I've just added this red arrow here just to get people started. And there's a key on the right-hand side. This focuses on three intrusion sounds, the y sound, the w sound, and the r sound. And the instructions are here. I'm not great at following instructions. I need something visual, so I got one of the other older teachers to show me years and years ago how to make sense of this. And even then, whenever I describe it to students, we need to go really carefully with some examples. So let's get started with this. And moving on, this is actually the final key, how to actually get out. So as you can see, it takes a little bit of explanation. But let's see what I do to introduce this. So starting from here. Okay, so first of all, have a look at the instruction key on the right-hand side here. And I usually start with the W in the center. W means go straight on. The thing is, it could be go straight on in any direction, depending on where you enter. Okay, next the Y sound, which is turn left. But as you can see here, it can be turn left exiting in any direction, depending on which direction we enter the square from. So an example of a Y is our tea or coffee, and it's actually worth mentioning at this point that this little curve here is what we're focusing on. So if the expression has more than two words, which most of them do, it's important that they focus on the correct gap. So this bit here, not the R. So it's the Y sound, not the R sound. And speaking of the R sound, over here, this is turn right. Again, can be in any direction, depending on from which direction you enter. So an example of an R sound is our saw a film, okay, which is up here. And again, this is a multi-word expression, so be careful that you focus the student's attention on the correct gap. And of course, these two examples are useful to point out as well, because this one has actually got an R and an R letter and an R sound, and this one's got a W letter and an R sound. So that's worth pointing out. So that takes care of the key, but as you can see, there's still the potential for some confusion. So what I do also is I give some examples of markers. So these green areas are correct points on the path from the entrance to the exit, and that just kind of keeps them on track. That means that you can let the class or groups go for some time and they can find their way around. Okay, so let's get started. We start here in the center, so we're going up from here, following the arrow. So the first one is a W sound. Okay, so I just put the W sound, and it's what I get the students to do first. Work out what the sound is, the intruded sound, and then work out what they need to do to navigate, right? And this one is it goes straight. So that means they're going into this square. Let's draw a line. Draw a line. So that'll be an R sound, right? So we put the R here, and then they work out what they have to do. Now this one's pretty straightforward because it's intuitive. You need a right turn, and it makes sense what they need to do. So what they have to turn right like this, right? So I'm just going to put this arrow here. And then the next square is saw a film. That's another right turn. But because we entered this way, it's a right turn like this, you see, like so. So the next box is I agree. That's a y sound. So that's a y sound. Put the y here, and that'll be a left turn. But because we're approaching from the top, it'll look like this, and that brings us to this square here. So get them started to the where are you box, which is obviously going to be another right turn. So they're going to go down this way. And from there, they should be okay. Some people will need to rotate the map, right? Some people are, they work best like that. So when you give the handout, just let them know that sometimes, it just makes sense for some people to rotate the map. And I'll leave you to figure out where the exit is. Okay, thanks very much for watching, and I hope this activity helps you and your students.